I could be like everybody else and
Good morning.
I'm sorry everybody had to walk into that.
Good morning, everyone.
I know. I feel like making a video asking why resellers are so angry lately. They're all ranting about something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Everybody's having a bitch fit.
Yeah.
Craziness. Pure craziness.
I actually wasn't bitching about my reselling though. I was bitching about my health. I need to be healthier. So they say.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Everybody doing okay today? Oh my gosh. I just clicked on the thumbnail and I'm going like this.
Perfect. That is perfect.
Jinx.
Yeah, Jack Smack says they're not getting laid enough. Thanks, Jack.
That's for damn sure.
Just my male chauvinistic ways.
Not getting laid enough, what?
Morning, Margot.
Good morning.
Tea, Frankie's Finds, the Bearded Picker, and Mr. Craig Murray. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. I slept good.
Well, I'm glad.
Look like you're refreshed.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty in your pink. Bushy-tailed.
Oh, I see. He said that's why they said that they're all so angry. Is because they don't get laid enough.
Right.
Oh, laid?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Blackberry Thistle Tea says, yes, Jack, that sex is the answer to all of life's problems. I agree completely.
Yeah.
Can someone please tell my husband?
It either causes them or it fixes them.
Can somebody please tell my husband because he doesn't believe me? See, if I had sex more, then I'd be happier, then he'd be happier, then our whole life
your blood sugar
run better.
That's great exercise.
That's what I'm saying.
You need to do it for your health.
I would get my exercise.
Tell you got to do it for your health.
I'd be yoga fit.
Well, Jack says, not sure if it's the answer to all of them, but it's a pretty good Band-Aid. No doubt about it.
Yes,
and then Blackberry Thistle Tea says that's why we all say fuck it.
That's right. No shit.
Did I say a bad word?
Yeah, you did.
Oh.
I didn't hear it though.
To me, that's not a bad word in my house.
Haven't you ever watched A Christmas Story? That's the queen of F words.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would never say that.
To me, the C word is a bad word.
That is a very bad word.
I don't like that word at all.
Like, and there's some people when I'm really, really angry, but I have to be pretty freaking angry to use it.
Yeah, Beth said didn't take long for us to take the downward turn.
No. Hey, might as well get it right out of our system right away.
Downward that we can go up from there.
Exactly. Might as well get it out of our system now.
Right.
Before Jason gets here and makes it worse.
No, but if you say the C word, somebody, just like Jack Smack says, usually when I hear the woman say the C word, someone's about to get an ass beaten. Yeah, that's, if you say it to me, I mean, bitch is nothing. Bitch is nothing to me. I've been called a bitch so many times in my life, and I'm like kind of agreeing with the person while I'm saying, please don't call me a bitch, but but I'm in my head, I'm in agreement. I'm like, oh yeah, I was totally a bitch, But that word is nothing to me except if my husband uses it or my kids use it. To me, they know.
Yeah.
They know better. And then the C word.
If my husband calls me that, he's in divorce court.
No shit. That's what I'm saying too. Because
if my kids call me that, they're on the floor, passed out. They'll sock them right in the mouth.
Yeah, they'll be picking themselves off the floor pretty quick.
Because I will never do something to any one of them that would cause them to call me such a nasty word.
Right.
I feel you.
Yeah. I totally agree. If my husband ever used that against me, which he's never have, but or my kids, they better know that they need to find another place to live. that would be the end of that.
That was one day we were joking around in the car and whatever, and I said something, and my daughter goes, "You're an asshole." And we were playing, I mean, so it wasn't like she was being rude about it,
Right.
It was playful. Anyways, my husband turns around, he goes, "Do you like your teeth?" He just goes, "I was surprised your mother didn't turn around and smack you." I said, "Well, it was in a playful manner, so it's fine, manner, so it's fine, like the other day I called her a douche,
Yeah.
It was playful. I would never actually call my daughter a douche. It was just playful,
Right.
Beth says all words are fair game to me, except I won't call a man a son of a bitch. My dad used to go crazy if someone called him that, took it personal against his mom. I can understand that.
Yeah.
MF bothers me. How crude could that be?
Yeah.
That's a crude word. I mean, I'm not a prude about it. And if somebody says it, whatever, but to me, that's a terrible word. That's crude.
Yeah.
Just,
I don't think people think about it like that though.
Yeah.
I think if they say that, they're thinking about, kind of like the same thing as almost kind of like the same thing as son of a bitch or something like that, but I don't think they're even meaning it, or like an asshole,
Right.
Yeah.
I think probably back in the day, that was probably something that was, derogatory towards your mother.
Right. Just
but
like
now I don't believe that that's,
almost like calling somebody a bastard or something.
Yeah. And of course, when you're like cussing somebody out, or calling somebody another name, you're not really thinking about it anyway. It's just whatever comes out.
Well, it's like, we've had this discussion before. Sometimes you say words that you don't realize actually really hurt, like, like retard or
right.
Or I had another one besides that, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, Indian giver.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with any nationalities, and I would never say anything to hurt somebody.
Right.
Right.
We used to call each other.
One time, and she was
Oh, sorry.
an Indian, and I actually called her an Indian giver. I said, "Hi, Indian giver," just playing around, It didn't really bother her, but after I said it, I was like, "Oh crap."
We used to call each other that all the time when we were kids. Like if you take something back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly.
But now we have to be politically correct about everything.
Yeah, and we used to call each other that as kids, and our parents never got on to us for that, which is weird. But at the same sense, I guess it wasn't a bad word to them.
But when I've always said it or whatever, I never thought negatively about Indian people. I don't think Indian people would give me something and take it back. That doesn't mean, that word has no meaning to me, really.
Yeah, just like Jew.
Right.
Other
like
than
whenever you say
always said. Yeah.
Whenever you say something about Jew you down, or something like that. When we were kids and stuff, that was a normal word,
Yeah.
for, being haggled.
Right.
Well, that was like my dad, his generation. They were brought up to say the N-word, which is terrible.
Right.
But they always said that was the normal word for it. And one time when I was only like first grade, if that, I was telling my friend, and that's where the N-words live. Now, we were friends with them. I used to go over and help her with her flowers, and so I was in a good standing with her. And she overheard me say that. And she goes, "Nikki, you get over here right now." She was pissed. And I was like, "What?" I didn't realize that I said something, so negative towards her. And now I would never say that. But yeah, when I was a kid, it was just something. And she goes, "Where did you hear that word?" And I was like, "I know my dad says it." Oh boy, she says, "Let's go." And boy, my dad was in trouble. She says, "Nick, how dare you?"
Margot has a really good one. "You're out of your cotton picking mind." Wow. I've never even thought about that one, actually.
No.
I never have either.
No.
Because I'm assuming that you're, like, if you assume that, well, yeah, Blackberry Thistle Tea says all races pick cotton, but, there was, races that, generally picked cotton, or that was referred to picking cotton.
Right.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. So I've never even thought about that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's some things you don't think of. I am the least racial person ever that you would ever know. I don't think badly about anybody because of their race. I don't think negative of anybody about their sexual orientation or anything. I'm the least prejudicial person you'd ever meet.
Right.
I would feel horrible if something I said made somebody feel bad or lesser than them, or because obviously if like I called somebody an Indian giver, that would be playful,
Right.
It wouldn't be mean, and I would feel bad if that came out of my mouth and then somebody felt bad because I said it, These days you really have to watch what you say because people take offense to everything. I can't even say God in most places and people get excited,
Blackberry Thistle Tea says just substitute MF for cotton picking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Smack says, on the other hand, I think people have gotten too damn sensitive.
Yeah.
That, and, we just really don't recognize what what comes out of our mouths most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
we were raised very, very religious and, in a religious home. And so we couldn't even say shut up to each other.
We would get spanked for that. Yeah.
We would definitely get spanked for that.
I was brought up in a good moral religious home. My parents were married for 30-some years until my mom passed away. We lived in the same house almost my whole entire life. The only reason why we moved was because the paper mill bought us out. And my dad had a job, my mom had a job, my mom stayed home with me until I was old enough to go to school. So I was raised in a good home. But yeah, you just don't realize sometimes when you say stuff that you just don't have that meaning. Because I was raised in Duluth, Minnesota, and back in the day, like when I went to high school, there was 2 black kids. She was one of my best friends. So you don't realize growing up in a world where there's not really that many races. We had a couple Hmongs, and there's a lot of Native Americans up here.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't think of it because you're not around you know, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I read
Bessie just calls everybody a twat waffle.
There you go.
That's pretty funny.
It's pretty politically correct too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Bud lunch.
And that's another thing, you know, I mean, like mentally handicapped people. I mean, that was actually a term of endearment to call each other retarded. You know, I mean, it's, you know, you call your kids that, you call it, you know, your husband that or whatever, but it's not meaning anything bad.
Right.
I'm trying to make fun of a mentally retarded person or mentally handicapped person, whatever it's supposed to be called now.
Yeah.
It's just
I worked with mentally handicapped. I worked with mentally handicapped people for most of my adult life, and you know, never was I trying to, you know, tell somebody that, you know, they were less of a person because they were, you know, mentally handicapped.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's Blackberry Thistle Tea says white trash, how about that? You know, it is what it is. You know, I think of, whenever I think of white trash, I think of people that don't take care of their kids, they don't take care of their house or their car, that they, you know, just, I don't know, they're just trashy. They're, you know, they're whores and pigs, and that's what I think of whenever I think of white trash. But really, who am I to say that people don't think of me like that?
Yep.
You know, so
then again, the whores are the original entrepreneur.
Right. Prostitutes are pretty damn handy.
They're the original entrepreneur. They taught us how to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I have something right in between my legs that sells.
Don't have a very big overhead cost. Yeah, the barrier entry is pretty cheap. At least for her, not for him.
What about return on investment?
Yeah. Can't get, and they can't get returns either. They don't have any chargebacks.
They can take returns, but they can't give them.
Wow.
That's too funny.
What a great way to start the morning.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, now we got all that out of our system.
Yeah. Ginger says, hell, we even have the White Trash Cafe here in Nashville. Really?
Huh.
That's interesting.
Don't have to ship it, Craig Murray says.
Yeah, you don't have to ship it.
Oh my God.
Oh man, we could probably go all day on this.
That was good.
Wow.
I'm just saying, you know, they were pretty smart. You know, I mean, they.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up in California, so I mean, it was very diversified. It was, you know, there was all, you know, different kinds of races, and you know, we didn't even really know any gay people when we were growing up, but turns out my sister's been gay all of her life.
Right.
You know, and so it was kind of a new thing whenever she came out. And you know, then, you know, with her, we found, you know, other gay friends, and you know, turns out like everybody started coming out, you know, and you know, saying that they were gay and everything, which they were. And but you know, really, we've grown up very diversified, and you know, we were always friends with, you know, different races in school and stuff. You know, it never really mattered. Race really never mattered. I've dated black people or black guys, you know, and stuff when I was single, and you know, never race never was really a thing for me. It's more of who you are inside, and you know, that can make your outside be ugly, even if you're the prettiest person.
Right.
You know, so I totally agree. It's what's on the inside and how you're raised.
My thing about gay people is the only difference between me and a person who's gay is what they do in the bedroom. Now, nobody gives a shit what I do in the bedroom, so why do I care what they do in the bedroom?
Right.
That is the only difference between us and a gay person.
Right.
The only other problem I had, I went to a bar with my ex-husband, who was my husband then, probably 15 years ago or something. And there was this girl from school, and she was said that she was gay. She had came out that she was gay. And then the rest of the night, her and her girlfriends and stuff wouldn't stop like hitting on me, like right in front of my husband. And I thought that was really rude. You know, it's like, you know, just because you're gay doesn't mean I'm gay.
Most
you know, and some people think of it as a game, you know, like, let's see if we can turn her gay or whatever, you know.
Yeah, most start like that.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And, you know, we have friends that, you know, never have done that to us before, you know. I mean, they have
no interest. If you're not gay, they have no interest in you, because obviously it's like, you know.
Yeah, it's off limits.
Okay, story time. I got a funny story.
Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
There was this guy in school. I loved him almost my whole life. I met him in probably 6th or 7th grade. Ever since, I just loved him. And he was so cute. And I wanted so badly to go out with him. And I could get any guy I wanted, you know. And I didn't know what was wrong with me, you know. And yeah, he's a little happier than most guys, you know, whatever. I didn't think nothing of it, because it wasn't that kind of thing back then, you know. Anyways, one time I was at the main club, the gay bar in Superior. Saw him kiss every guy in the place. And all of a sudden he notices me and comes over and he bumps me up with his hip, and we're talking, and he gives me this big old smooch on the mouth. Now, in high school, that would have made my heart just go flutter. Actually, after just seeing him kiss every guy in the bar, I wanted to go puke, you know, and bleach my mouth, you know. But yeah, it was almost like the angels singing, going, whoa, the heavens opened up. It was not me why he would not go out with me in high school, you know. But after I saw him kiss every guy in the place, I told my sister-in-law, I was like, it wasn't me. This makes me feel great. This is a great night, you know. Well, it was me. It was the lack of what I had, but yeah, you know.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, it was like an eye opener. It was like, huh, all them years I couldn't figure out why he wouldn't go out with me. Well, I mean, because I loved him so much. If he would have went out with me, gosh, there would have been no Gary, no, you know, no, I would have, you know, stayed with him forever. I loved him so much. Yeah. Funny. Story over.
Yeah.
See, the guys have rant over. I can say story over.
I think some people, they come out as gay and they're not really gay. They're just very confused and undecided about who they want to be with, you know. But and really, I think if you're gay, you know, yeah, you're going to be more apt to you know, to be attracted to same sex and stuff, but also you're attracted to people, not you know, not caring whether they're a male or female.
Right.
I love gay people. They really know how to party. I mean, I've always had way more fun at the gay bar than the regular bar. I mean, they really know how to party. I'm sorry. I have way more fun with gay people than I do straight people.
Yep.
Oh, I
Always.
know. I know.
Always. I just love it, and I have lots of gay friends, and I just love them to pieces.
Jennifer
Gays and
says black
lesbians, I don't
women
care.
love my husband. Is he black? I wonder. That is funny. Wow. Yeah,
Good
I mean,
conversation.
huh?
It's a good conversation today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting it all out there. I just love everybody. I don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me too. I mean,
do.
as long as they're, pretty on the inside, I'm good with that. Jennifer says no, but they freaking love him. Huh, that is crazy.
That's awesome, though.
Oh yeah. I mean,
There's this girl that my sister's ex-boyfriend. He had a girlfriend, and she used to like flirt with my husband all the time. Tell him, oh, he used to wear Axe. Oh, you smell so good. That's why he stopped wearing Axe, actually. She's like, oh, you smell so good, and she'd like rub up against him, try to sniff him and stuff. I was like, really, But I mean, I never said anything because I'm not. What do you call it?
jealous.
Self-conscious about it.
Oh.
My husband comes home to me every night. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, I think even if I died, he'd probably have a hard time going out with somebody else. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it never bothered me, but I was just like, really? That's kind of tacky,
Yeah.
She came to our family functions and stuff, and she was like flirting with my husband and stuff. Like, what? Then I had a cousin who tried to go out with my husband. Me and my husband separated for a short time, and we separated to save the marriage because he was driving me crazy, and I didn't want to hate him. So we kind of went through a bad time, for about a year, but it saved the marriage, and we've been married for 23 years, so it was worth saving. Anyways, my cousin tried to, as soon as she found out that we were separated, she called me one day and she goes, "Can I have Gary's number? I need him to look at my car." It's like, "Oh yeah, sure," because that's the kind of thing we do,
Yeah.
And she came from California. She used to be out in California. Gosh, she was a whore and everything else out there, nasty. And she moved here. I don't know if she moved here with some agenda, thinking that we were going to start supporting her or what, But anyways, she's just a low life. But anyways, yeah, she actually called my husband and asked her to take her to the carnival because she didn't have a car. But he's like, "Well, that's weird, but okay, I'll give you a ride to the carnival." And he said that she tried to make passes at him and everything. It's like, really, you know? And like when we see her out in public, she'll be like, "Hi, Gary." Won't even say hi to me, and she's my cousin.
What a bitch.
Not that I care. I mean, I've washed my hands of her, but yeah. And I mean, there's a family is weird. My dad, when I was driving truck, and I'd be talking about going out to California, and he's like, "Well, if you go by your uncle's, and they lived in Stockton. If you go by your uncle's, go, stop by and say hi, give him a call. Oh yeah, yeah. I always liked my uncle. Well, I only saw him a couple times when I was growing up because he could never afford to come out here. Well, anyways, one time I was broke down near Stockton, and my part wouldn't come in for a couple of days, so I was going to be there for a couple of days. So I gave him. My dad says, "Give him a call." I said, "All right." So I gave him a call. He finally answered, and I said, "Yeah, I'm here in your area, and I just thought maybe you might want to meet up and go for lunch or something. I'll buy you lunch." Sure, yeah. I have to work and blah blah blah, but yeah, let's call me tomorrow and we'll figure it out. So, anyways, I called him the next day. I called him all day long. They took their phone off the hook.
Oh my God.
I told my dad, I said, "Don't you ever ask me to call him again." I said, "Because it won't happen. I ain't gonna waste my time." you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want anything from him, you know. I was actually going to buy him lunch because I knew he's, doesn't have a lot of money, you know. I was
Wow.
actually going to offer to buy it for him, you know. But yeah, my dad went off on him. Woo! One of my kids come out your area and call you, and you don't even answer the phone. What is wrong with you? Oh, he was mad. Yeah, all day long the phone was busy, and he goes, "Oh, somebody must have knocked the phone off the hook by accident." Yeah, whatever. All day long, you know.
Oh my God.
And it's not like they had any little kids around or something that would have done it.
Right.
Yeah. And then eventually he finally admitted it that his wife took the phone off the hook because she didn't want me to come
Well,
over or
now we're
something.
talking about exes in the chat. Library Thistle Tea says my ex was a bodybuilder. Women used to ask to fill his muscle right in front of his fat ass wife. Don't say that about yourself.
No, it's not
And
allowed.
Jack Smack said he should have told them to ask his wife.
Yeah.
And Frankie Fine says my ex used to say that every cashier that said hi to him wanted his body. So he tested it. Turns out he was right. That's why he's my ex.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've had women come on to my husband before, but yeah, I'm not worried about it, you know.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I had a doozy for a first husband, I'll tell you that. Just he was something else. He thought he was God's gift with his looks.
Mm.
And he was crazy as fuck. And so he thought he could read people's minds and shit. And like use the force like on Star Wars. He took that literal. He took it literal.
Jedi mind trick.
Huh?
The Jedi mind trick?
Yeah. And he was crazier than I don't even know what. He was pretty nuts. I think schizophrenic and bipolar, definitely. And
Well, at least you upgraded. Naked Man's pretty cool, huh?
oh yeah, he doesn't have any like mental diseases. So thank God for that. But yeah. He
seems like a pretty nice guy. I mean, just a little bit that I've seen him talk to you and stuff,
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He really is. He can be an asshole just like any other guys, but
well, that comes out.
He's most of the time he's a sweetheart to me, and he takes care of me what I need. He always cooks for me, and like this morning he helped me wash clothes and clean the house and stuff, and he knows that if it's gonna make me happy that he needs to help.
Yeah.
So
because when Mama's not happy, nobody's happy.
Right. He's a pretty good guy.
That's good.
Yeah. Valerie has a doozy for an ex-husband too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean he was better than mine. Mm-hmm. Valerie's like, I don't know about that.
No, I mean, the reality was, I mean, I married him when I was 16 and he was 26. I grew up and I stayed with him for 17 years, but and my whole thing was, you gotta stay for the kids.
Yeah.
I would have never done that now. Never. But and the kids were, I think they were 15 and 17, so I just I'm sure we all have our little Grandma Magic Classic says, remember a girl that slept with my ex and she told me she had just slept with my husband. Laugh out loud. I laughed and I said, so is everyone else, so don't feel special. That's a good one. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Ginger says nothing sexier than a man that cleans. I agree.
Yeah.
But and Valerie's first husband was a clean freak.
Oh my gosh.
It was pretty bad.
Well,
I mean, my
I mean,
mom, she wasn't like, I mean, my mom, she cleaned, but not, I mean, she had 4 kids. So it was like, the house was
Yeah.
always continuously, in some kind of uproar. And we
Yeah.
always had other kids around too. So it was like, you do the dishes and you clean the kitchen, and that's about as clean the house is going to get, do laundry and stuff like that. But that's about it.
it's a never ending.
Yeah. But so I was like, what, 12 or something, or whenever you married Rick,
Uh-huh.
I was young. And so I'd go over to her house, and it was like they were always like up dusting. And I mean, I was like, this is so new to me because I don't know of this dusting thing that you guys are doing, I don't know what you guys are supposed to be doing right now. And so it was pretty crazy to come over to her house, and they're vacuuming every single day. And my mom just we didn't do that at our house.
No.
It was like,
top priority.
yeah, you do what needs to be done, and that's about it. But at Valerie's house, it was like a whole damn list. And then whenever, I would watch the kids and stuff, I'd try and, do what I could. And Rick would always come in and do everything all over again because it wasn't like perfect, but he was
He was just a
pretty,
clean freak.
yeah, he was.
He liked it,
I wish I could be like
nice.
that sometimes, but
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I mean, as long as they're willing to do the cleaning,
oh yeah.
which sounds like he was willing to do the cleaning. I mean, if I had a husband that was a clean freak, but expected
Yeah.
me to be doing the cleaning that well,
Right.
Yeah. Well, I had him trained pretty good. Even at 17, I trained him pretty good.
Yeah.
Fishing and Pickin says, me and my wife live 300 miles apart. I have a 1,500 square foot man cave. Wow. That's awesome.
Wow, Grandma Magic Classics. I still have problems with the ex, and there was a restraining order for a while. Glad he doesn't know where I live now. Yeah, I understand that.
Me too.
Sorry to hear that.
That's awful. But I'm glad you got rid of him.
Yep.
I have ex-boyfriends, but I was married I was married a year after I was out of high school, so I don't really have a lot of exes.
Yeah.
And my husband was 22, and when I started going out with him, he's 5 years older than me, and he was my brother's best friend. So, worked.
Sharking Mom Dill says, I found out after 27 years I was the only one dedicated to my marriage. I got medical problems, then I wasn't good enough. He left me for the town bicycle. Everyone in town rides her.
Oh, jeez.
That is crazy.
Wow.
Well, you don't feel sad about that because she probably has the gift that keeps on giving. So,
yeah.
with that many people.
Yep.
Well,
So how's everybody's sales? We should do a little bit about reselling, I guess.
A little bit, yeah. Let's dial it down a little bit. My sales suck.
Yeah, my sales suck too, but I probably have until tomorrow before everything starts ramping up a little bit because I listed all those listings and in a hurry, and then of course it takes a couple of days, I think.
Yeah.
I only have 5 things listed, so my sales are horrible.
I'm sure.
Like all over again.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I first started, you never really got sales every day until you were up to a few hundred
Right.
listings, it seemed like.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, you have to, that's just a part of it. Is there's going to be days where you don't have sales,
Yeah.
and you just have to be proactive and
Yep.
and
Just do
list your ass off and keep busy doing that. So
Yep. That's what I say.
that's the way I feel.
Just list through the slow times. I've always said that.
Yeah. I
Use
may
that
have,
time.
sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say yesterday I went to the doctor and I may have made another connection because I've always, been really friendly with a nurse that works there. Her name's Diane. And she said that she bought her mother and father's house and it's just like jam packed full of stuff. And so I told her, I said, I sell on eBay. So if you need to get rid of some stuff, I could take it. I could take it off your hands, just take my number. And then she started talking about she's retiring in 25 days. And so she already signed up for some craft shows, to keep herself busy and stuff. And that she really likes doing crafts um and she says she wants to start an Etsy store. And I was like, well, that's really cool. I said, you should do Etsy, but you should, probably do eBay too. She's like, well, I gotta go in slow because I don't know about all this, and, she says there's kind of a lot. And I was like, yeah, and you can, learn some stuff off of YouTube, and, maybe join a few Facebook groups, just to, kind of get yourself in there. And then she seen my shirt because I was wearing my Thrifting Bitches of Reselling shirt. And on the back it says, check us out on YouTube. And she's like, you do YouTube? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh my God. So she actually took down your YouTube channel name and she says that she wants to watch some. So
cool.
I was like, some of it is just about daily life stuff. Some of it's about reselling. So we just talk about whatever comes up.
Yeah.
She's like, that is really neat.
It's like standing around the water cooler, except we can't get sexual harassment charges for what we talk about.
No doubt about
it. Thank goodness. I'd be in trouble.
There's no HR department.
Blackberry Thistle Tea says, I read where Walmart might buy Etsy. Well, I haven't heard that.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that either.
Oh, Grandma Magic Classics. I spent last night searching for an order that I can't find at all.
Oh.
That sucks.
I hate that.
Just try to
tell your daughter to hurry and get here.
Just try to backtrack, and in the meantime, maybe try and see if you can get it somewhere cheaper or the same price, and just so that you don't have to cancel. That's the best thing. Because if you have to cancel, that's hard.
Yeah, I would even lose money to buy something to replace it and do it fast because they don't ship out the same day. You'll still get a ding for your shipping.
Right.
Yeah, Jack Smack says you'll find it as soon as you cancel the order.
That ain't no lie.
Yep. That's the way it always happens.
Yep.
My thing is what ticks me off is when I sell something and it's something that I have continuously seen every time I go looking for something else. I know I've seen this over and over and over again. So I know it's somewhere, and it just drives me crazy. Yeah. That's why I told my husband now that I'm starting fresh If anything gets listed, it has to have an inventory number.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it don't get up there.
We try, me and my husband, we try to do inventory on all of our clothing at least.
Just have to
Everything else goes on a shelf. So, and then the shoes are in boxes underneath my listing table. So, I mean, there's a place for everything.
Right.
It's listed, because if there wasn't, I'd be in so much trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, she says it's a vintage book, so it's going to be really hard to replace that.
Well, I thought so too. Go on Amazon, you might be able to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would try to find another one online to send, just like Shark and Mom Dill says.
I think she said that she was going to send her another book and then give her a refund.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll,
Well, that way they can't cancel.
She said she'll take her lumps, but she said the part that bugs me is she just listed it a month ago.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it helps to keep, like things together. So like all the books together, and all of the electronics together, that does help a lot. And it's hard when everything is, sometimes you have to space things out within your house, depending on how much room you have. And sometimes it's hard.
I do the numbered bin system, and it's a good system as long as you follow through with it. Because I mean it's simple. Each
What do you
thing has
do?
it's simple. You just have a bin there with a number on it, and everything you list, stick in that bin. Put the number on each listing, or on what do you call that? The SKU number, or whatever it's called, on the notes on the listing. I just put it right in the listing because I do everything with my mobile phone, so it's just as easy just to go to the description and see it. Anyways, you write the number on the bin, and every listing that has something in that bin has that number on the bottom of the listing, and then you can just go look. It's in bin number 145. Boom, you go and get it.
Yep.
And it's not a whole bunch of like things in the same bin, or sometimes it is, but most of the time it's not. So, I mean, if you've got like multiples of something that are like the same thing but different sizes or whatever, at least they're all in different bins, so it's easier to differentiate.
Yeah.
It's like clothing sellers. I don't know how you guys keep that shit straight.
I have shelves.
Especially when you get into the thousands,
Yeah. I have totes for everything, and they're all divided up. Shirts, men's shirts, women's shirts. In my room, I think I probably have, there's probably at least 25 totes.
Yeah.
And, so I just go through those. And I tried one system. It worked okay for a little bit, but, where I was putting it was a numbering system and everything. But it kind of went awry because of, when I would sell something, then there'd be that empty number, so I wouldn't connect the two, and I wouldn't put the empty number, I wouldn't assign that to another item. And so and that was my fault, but I don't know. The tote that works okay for me.
Well,
Yeah.
like Scavenger Life, they've always done like things with like things, and now that they're up to whatever 6,000 items or whatever they're up to, yeah, that's getting a little weird. I mean, so eventually, like Jay says, all of a sudden you've got 5 bins of shoes, of these certain kind of shoes, and
Right.
it starts getting confusing, so that's why I like the numbered bin system. And then if I was to like I said yesterday, I was not last Christmas, but the Christmas before, I was 7 days in the hospital, And because of my numbered bin system, my husband was able to keep my business going while I was in the hospital. Because he could
Right.
go out, see, this is a one-woman show I've got going on. And nobody knows what's going on but me, really. And so for me to take somebody who has no clue what I do and say, hey, I need you to go into bin number whatever and get this, bin number whatever and get this, and he can go and take it and ship it for me. So especially as people get older and stuff and maybe health problems kicking in or whatever, you should have some kind of system like that so that an outsider can come in and take over if they absolutely had to. Income. I mean, a lot of people are
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I just have to shut my store down. Well, when I was 7 days in the hospital, because my husband came in and got stuff for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I like the numbered bin system, because and as long as you stick with it and say, hey, I am not listing anything unless it has a bin number, then it's flawless as long as you stick with it.
Yeah.
No more stuff being lost as long as you stick. See, my problem is like I would like spend all day in town, so some stuff that I had in my van, I would list it and have it in a box, and then all of a sudden one day we go and clean out the van, and this listed box got jumbled in with everything else, like old inventory or whatever, or inventory that I haven't listed yet, or yeah. So I mean, I would lose a box and say, where is this stuff, or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, you got to be diligent about, and that's another thing. I've got stuff in a storage shed. I've got stuff which is in Superior, like 30 miles, 20 miles away. I have stuff in my garage. I have stuff in my camper, which is at my dad's. I have stuff in my dad's garage, you know, um, in Duluth, which is like 25 miles away, So I said, everything's going to have a number. Everything's going to be in a bin, unless it's, of course, too large for a bin. But then you're going to see it if it's that big. And everything's going to be at
Mhm.
home. I'm now no longer having listed inventory everywhere in Duluth, Superior, and the surrounding areas. It's all going to be at home, in one place.
That's good.
Yeah. You just have to be. You have
That'll
to
be
be
a
tough
lot of
for yourself.
stress off your mind too.
It is,
Sorry.
and like if I have to go, like I'm going to get my building, and hopefully it's going to be heated. My husband said it is. But like in winters past, when it's so freaking cold outside, if I would have stuck with my numbered bin system on days when the stuff was in the bins that they were supposed to be in, I would be out there for 2 seconds in the cold, grabbing the stuff and going back in the house to ship it. It wasn't that
Yeah.
bad, you know. The cold wasn't that bad. But if I got to sit and look through bin after bin after bin to try to find this stupid thing, and then not even find it,
Mm-hmm.
then it just pisses you off because now you just froze for nothing and you got to cancel an order or whatever. Yeah, I mean, that's terrible. But yeah, if you stick with that system, it'll work.
Right.
I'm proof of that. I can't say anything, and I can only tell you what I teach you from my mistakes, and I've been selling for years. So I still make the mistakes. Because you got it all up here, you think, and you
Mm-hmm.
think, okay, well, this is such an obscure item. I'll never forget where that is, because, it's such an unusual item or whatever. Most of the stuff I sell is all unusual stuff.
Right.
But yeah, you do end up forgetting. I mean, once these little inventory systems that people have going on or whatever, that's good for the first couple hundred items. But once you get up to 200, 300, 400 items, 500 items, I was up to over 2,000 items on both my stores. It started getting a little confusing at where stuff was. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, I'm sure.
so yeah.
Are you leading the stretch today, Valerie?
Yeah.
Do what?
Aesthetics.
Yeah, I'm
You leading the
stretching.
stretch?
That's the way we could start out the show every day, calisthenics. Do our morning yoga.
Oh gosh.
Get the blood flowing.
Yeah, all I got was that one sale yesterday, but it was only because I put it on a markdown manager sale, and I haven't got anything yet, so it'll probably be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Did you get anything yesterday, Valerie?
No. No sales yesterday.
Hmm.
I mean, the day before was really good,
Yeah.
but yeah, yesterday was in the toilet.
I saw a lot of people posting that they had a lot of sales yesterday, so must have been a good sale for most people. But you know, not
Yeah.
everybody's going to have good sale days. And then, you know, sometimes I have bad sale days and everybody has really good sale days. And sometimes my eBay's on fire and people haven't sold squat, you know, so
Yep.
just depends, you know. And usually if I have like a slow weekend, is up. Or if I have a slow week, usually the weekend's on fire, you know, so kind of comes and goes. Well, now everything's slow.
Trickling, trickling.
Trickling. Yeah, I haven't even had anything trickle in. At least when I had all my stuff listed, I wasn't listing, but I still had activity on my account. I was actually getting sales. But no, I feel good about my decision. And I could go, I still have time. I could go back in and relist everything and make it easy on myself. But then I'm not starting fresh again, you know, and I'm trying to start fresh and see how it goes, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it would be good to do that for me, but I can't do that. I would have to, you know, I couldn't, I would feel like I would be throwing it away.
Yeah.
You know, throwing away all that time and stuff.
Let me tell you.
Because it is a lot of time.
Well, like just on my small store alone, that was 3 years of work. It took me 3 years to get up to, well, at one time I was at 1,200 listings, but when I ended everything, I was at 700, almost 800 listings. It took me 3 years to get up to that.
Right.
You know, because as I was listing, things were selling. So it's hard to get from 100 to 200, from 200 to 300, you know. It's really hard to get up to those numbers because you're selling, you know. And when I'm really into it, I'm a listing machine. So yeah, I would have things being listed every day and selling every day, you know. But yeah, it pays anybody to do what I did, because first of all, a lot of people can't. I have a husband that works outside the home. I also have some savings because I made good money on eBay the last few years, really good money. So I don't advise anybody to just do what I did, because I have reserves. I have a backup plan. If I'm not making money, I'm still okay. My bills are still being paid, you know.
Right.
So we're not having as much fun, but my bills are still being paid. So I don't advise anybody to do what I did, but let me tell you, it feels really good to start out fresh, you know.
Yeah.
And I think
Jack Smack says, what's the oldest inventory that y'all have that's not listed? Mine's only from probably maybe 6 months ago.
I did find a box from about 3 years ago. I got it in an auction. It was about 3 years ago.
Yeah. And, you know, the only reason why I know this is because about 6 months ago, maybe even 7 or 8, I had listed nearly everything that I had gotten from thrift stores and stuff. And yeah, I didn't have hard. I probably had 2 little boxes full of stuff, you know, just little knickknacks and stuff, but nothing that I knew I could make money on, you know. And so all my inventory that I have now is from 6 to 7 months ago to now.
That's good.
Yeah, so at least I know that I have. I mean, it was hard for me because I didn't have the money to go to a thrift store and buy anything
Mhm.
at the time, and so it was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do
Yeah.
because I don't have money to go buy anything to list, and then I started finding my inventory for free, and now I have so much inventory.
Yeah.
I have so much stuff that I want listed.
One problem with auction buyer, I have always been an auction buyer.
Yeah.
Thrift stores were just kind of, if I was bored or whatever, go to it, you know. But my main source of inventory has always been auctions, live auctions. And being an auction buyer, yeah, you never go without inventory. There's always
Right.
something you can buy at an auction to sell, and when, especially if you buy box lots, you've always got stuff to list. You know.
Yeah. Right. That makes sense.
And in my area, you know, I hear how people say, "Oh, well, you know, I get a home run here and there." You know, I get home runs all the time. You know,
Right.
it's constant. You know, that's why I like auctions. You know, it's just because something that most people wouldn't think is worth anything is, and most people aren't there to get it.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like I could get home runs all the time too, which is crazy, but um I usually find at least one thing that I'm like, oh, I gotta get this home and get it listed right away because it was, you know,
Yeah.
a really good thing.
Yeah. No, I've seen some of your stuff. You get some good stuff out of there.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, see, a lot of people think, you know, oh, well, she's digging in a dumpster. She's just a trash picker, you know, or
I
like
don't
me
care.
digging through the spring cleanup piles. Yeah, I made a lot of money off that spring cleanup piles.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be vacuum cleaner parts. I mean, I'd sell one of those canisters off the front of the shampooer, carpet shampooer, for $25.
Yeah.
Well,
So
now
why
if you
not?
multiply that by the 10 vacuums I brought home, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
Why not?
so yeah, trash picking. Don't underestimate trash picking. And then that one spring cleanup, I found two vintage suitcases. I sold each one of those. They were the nice ones with the satin inside.
Mm-hmm.
I sold each one of those for $45 each. Got them for free. They're in
Wow.
pristine condition, you know.
Yeah.
And one year I found some vintage like Sesame Street toys and stuff like that. I sold all those, you know, for no less than $10 each, 10, 20
Right.
bucks each. So don't underestimate. I just found a Royal typewriter, a pink one,
Mm-hmm.
or salmon, or whatever you want to call it. Those are very sought after. I haven't looked up the model or whatever, but Royal typewriters usually go between 50 and 150. So
Awesome.
yeah, as long as it
Yeah.
works. But I haven't tested it yet, but I'm sure it'll work. What goes wrong with a typewriter, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's like I was telling my son the other day, you know, I pulled out at least a couple of $1,000s worth of inventory out of there, you know, so nobody could tell me, you know, that it's not worth it to do it.
Yeah.
It's just what makes sense to me now.
It all depends on people's areas, you know. I mean, like
Oh
me, I've
yeah.
tried dumpster diving, and I never find anything dumpster diving.
Yeah.
And but like even like auctions, I say, okay, I picked up this box for $1. Now people think that that's probably the bottom end of everything. You know, all the
Right.
items are dollar boxes, and they're probably all just crap. No, I've
Right.
pulled a lot of stuff out of them dollar boxes that I paid $1 and sold them for nothing less than $25 or $45. I've even had them where I found $100 items in boxes, dollar boxes. So don't underestimate that either. I mean, it just depends on where you live.
Oh yeah. No,
just because I'm buying dollar boxes don't mean I'm buying crap.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Well,
And
you'll have to.
sometimes I can't get a box for $5.
Right.
Sometimes the boxes go high, and sometimes I buy them higher too.
Right.
All depends where you.
Well,
Be right back.
okay. I ended up going to lunch yesterday with my mother-in-law, and then on the way back I went to a thrift store and bought some more goodies.
You say like that. You sound like an alcoholic that went to the bar.
Well, sometimes I feel like that because it's like,
Yeah, me too.
I mean, here I am, I'm trying to get rid of stuff, and I'm buying stuff, on top of that. But I just, a lot of the stuff that I have, I pretty much already, I've been through it just to see if there's any, big sellers in there or whatever.
Yeah.
And, so I know that they're not, they're, kind of mediocre, just regular t-shirts or, polo shirts and stuff like that. And it just doesn't get me excited. So if I figure if I can go once a week to a thrift store and get a few things, then that'll keep my, the excitement going.
Yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer of having the stuff that does get you excited.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that, I don't know.
Yep.
That want to list it.
Well, I told my husband, I want to start getting stuff listed the next day after I come home from the auction, the next couple of days, and not planning anything in the next couple of days after an auction, because I'm still excited about those items. I'm still excited about what I bought,
Right.
and so that'll cause me to list it faster. And yeah, because after about a week of not listing it and riding around in my van, it stops being exciting anymore.
Right. Yeah. Grandma Magic Classic says that she loves crawling around in attics. Actually, that's something that I need to do. Also, is get up in the attic and bring all of my stuff down and figure out. I probably need to do it this week, actually, because we have cleanup day this weekend.
Oh, that's a good time to do it then.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. I've got a lot of stuff to get rid of as far as trash and things that I can't do anything with. So
Yeah.
wow. Sharky Mom Deals says she loves house clean outs. She just did an auction by her hoarder's house. I have lots of good money to list. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those
house clean outs can really be nice.
I've never done that before. I think it would be cool.
And really and truly, the estate auctions that I go to and farm auctions, those are like clean outs.
Right.
It's just you're not taking everything, first of all. And second of all, you get to pick and choose what you want. But it's the same thing. I mean, most of these auctions are where people died and they're selling off the whole estate. So you're just going in, they're cleaning out everything,
Yeah.
And even at the auctions, you'll see the stuff out of the pantry, the food out of the pantry even,
Yep. The first estate sale was kind of it was kind of hard for me to do. Um, I got too emotional about it,
Hmm.
and it's just I started thinking, these people, this was their stuff, and
Yeah.
I really really overthought it,
Yeah.
and I'm surprised I didn't walk out because I just felt like I was violating their space.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And I think of that too sometimes, like auctions. You hear of somebody dying or whatever, and this is what our life has become. All of our shit
yeah,
out in the yard, somebody's pilfering through.
yeah,
But we're giving. I like Jay on Scavenger Life says. We're giving new life to those items. We're finding
yeah,
homes where people will love those items again. So
very
yeah,
very
think of it
true.
that way. We're bringing joy to people's lives because, like, some people, I've had like stuffed animals or dolls or something that people have been looking for years, and it brings them joy because they're getting back that nostalgia, that memory.
Right.
You know, Even something as simple as Grandma's cookbook. This one woman, she was so excited she found this cookbook she had been looking for, and she remembered her grandma making stuff out of this specific cookbook, and now she gets to make those recipes for her family. So if you stop and think about it that way, their memory is living on in those items, and.
Right. That's true. I guess I've never really thought about that, but
Mhm.
it's
We're
true.
allowing somebody else to make new memories with those items.
Yep, that's
Because I hear
true.
a lot of stories like that. I enjoy that. I love it when a buyer messages me, and like the last light globe I sold. The woman messaged me and she said, "Oh, I'm so happy you had that," and I sold it within like a day or two of listing it, and she said that she had the same exact one on a lamp her parents gave her back in the 70s when she moved into her first apartment. Her parents
Oh,
gave her this lamp, and she said that even though her decor tastes have changed, that lamp has always been a favorite,
mhm.
because it was from her parents and it was treasured. And
Right.
she broke the globe 2 years ago, looking for the globe ever since. And she was so excited that she found it. And I was able to give her back that memory. Now she can use her
Exactly.
lamp and reminisce about her parents and whatever.
Very true.
I love when buyers tell me their story. That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And I always feel bad. Sometimes they want a backstory on the item, and it's like all I can say is I bought it at an auction. Sorry, I mean, I
Yeah.
can't give them any good story about it.
Right.
I suppose I can make something up, but I kind of feel bad that I don't have some big story about the item. Sometimes they want to hear, but
Yeah. Yeah, there's I had those boots, those oh, what do you call them?
oh, from that soldier,
The Yeah,
yeah,
and that was really cool to get the history on that, but I had to do a little bit of digging on it.
yeah.
I did sell them once, but they came back because the guy said that they weren't his size. So, I have them again. I just haven't relisted them yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I need to because I'm sure that they would sell.
Yeah.
Well, if they sold once, they'll sell again.
Hmm.
Well, that's like I have this scrapbook from this woman. It was back in the 20s, and it's her whole high school scrapbook, and it's got all the invitations, all the programs from all the. Uh, it's got pictures of her and her friends, and it's got where she's taken pictures out of magazines. This is going to be my future husband. This is what I'm going to do for a living. You know, and it's just neat, you know, and she's got little notes in there and stuff. And it's just a cool scrapbook to look through, you know. I
Yeah.
had a hard time trying to sell it. I didn't want to sell it because it's just such a neat piece of history, you know, and there's all these black and white photos in there, and it's just really neat to look at, you know. But I don't know the woman. Why the hell am I keeping it, you know?
Right.
It's not like she's my grandma or something. I did actually find the family. It was a local family, but they said they didn't want it.
Wow.
Because I just thought it was just such a nice thing, you know. The family didn't want it, you know, so, well, I tried.
Right.
I was a little sentimental. Now I don't do that anymore, but because obviously it's in there for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
But I have had where we found at a local rummage sale, we found a box of pictures one day, and it was all these pictures of my husband's family, some of his extended relation, and we ended up buying the box of pictures. And here it was a box that had accidentally got donated for the rummage sale, and it wasn't supposed to. Cousin was so excited that we found all them pictures, you know. They thought they'd lost forever. So sometimes, you know, it's nice to find things for people, but now I don't usually seek out people anymore about it because, you know, I'm in the business to make money, you know, the family can come and buy it from me.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I get sentimental about some stuff, you know, and
Yeah. I have a whole box of stuff that came from that storage unit that is just pictures and scrapbook savings about this guy that used to play football, and you know they saved everything, you know, for that. And I still have to list it, but I don't even know what to price it at because it's like this is, you know, this is only good for, you know, this is the way I feel. It's only good for people that know the guy or, you know, was related to him, and you know, it's part of their family history, you know. But
a lot of people like that though. They like to collect that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often wondered why people want pictures of other people's family, you know, but collect that stuff, you know. And maybe it's somebody out there lonely who doesn't have any family, and it makes them feel good looking at pictures of other people's family. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it was really cool for me. Like, even though I didn't know the guy, like I'd flip the paper over, and this is from the 1920s, 1930s, and or maybe not even, maybe 40s. I don't know, 30s, 40s, something around there. And you know, there's ads for, you know, 1 cent for, you know, a pair of pants or whatever it was, you know. And I was like, that is so cool. That is so neat to see that.
Yeah.
You know, on an actual ad.
Yeah, it is cool. Who was I watching the other day that has somebody, one of the resellers I was watching the other day, he has it doesn't have all the pieces to it, but it's like a bake like massager. And he was telling a story the other day, and he got it from his grandfather's or something. And he's got the original receipt for it, and it was $35. And it's back in the 50s, I think it was. $5, and he had to pay. He paid payments on it. $35.
Wow.
Yeah, weekly payments of $5 or something for $35. But $35 back then, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
I can't remember which reseller that was that I was watching that one day.
That is crazy. I found a really old massager the other day too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty old. It's probably from the 50s. Fishing and Pickin asked, "Hey Sally, did you get your funny grass from California?" I did. It wasn't funny grass, and it didn't smell anything like funny grass. It had a very perfumey scent. Like I can't even. It smelled like old lady's perfume, and I could not. It was on an incense stick, and there was 10 sticks, and I gave them to my son because he burns incense all the time, and thought that he might like it, but he said he didn't even really like it. Fishing and Picking asked Mothership product, Nikki.
Yeah, Mothership. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
On the walk.
Thank you.
On the walk
and Picker show. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly who it was. Thank you. It was bugging me. I'm sitting here thinking who the heck it was.
I'm listing swimsuits today.
Oh, that should sell good.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of them too.
It's good.
You're listening what?
Swimsuits.
Yeah, it was just funny because he said that on the receipt. It said he paid payments for $35, and now it let you laugh at that. You know, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
$35. You know, I mean,
Now, like the other day, I was telling Valerie because she got her tooth fixed and stuff, and it like, you know, made me think of it. But there was this commercial on TV, and it's one of those buy it now products, you know, and it was veneers, a whole set of top veneers, and then one of my friends posted on Facebook that they're selling them in Walmart for even cheaper. They're like $15 online or off of the TV, and then you can buy them at Walmart for like $12.97.
Huh.
But it's like a whole set of veneers that you can just pop in your mouth over your other teeth so that you can have a full set, you know, on the top.
Wow.
I was like, holy crap. That's awesome. I need to get some of those just so I can, you know, have them, for, you know, just in case. Because I know I was telling Valerie this tooth is fake. You know, I had a root canal in it. And are you okay, Val? No, she's coughing her head off.
Oh, she's okay.
But yeah, I mean, if anything ever happened to this tooth and you know my fake one fell out, I would be at home. I couldn't even go to work like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it would be probably a good thing just to get a snap-on smile. That's what it's called in Walmart.
Oh.
I know. Blackberry Thistle Tea says, Sally, did you get your lottery ticket lady taken care of? I've sold her a couple of lots of tickets. She hasn't got all that she has requested. She wanted like $12,000 retail more, and I didn't have it at the time. And since then, I've sold one lot to another person that I sell tickets to. So, she may not be interested anymore. I'm not sure. She may have got what she needed from somebody else that she knows or something. But
Yeah.
she hasn't messaged me back. But she let it go to she let another lot go to somebody else yesterday. So I'm
Are
thinking,
you still saving them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you save them all year?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. I mean, I haven't even got another lot together yet, but I just sold a lot yesterday. There's a guy that puts them into the lottery website, and that's what he uses them for. So,
yeah,
you know, so I always have a buyer there for those. Because as far as I know, nobody else in Michigan sells them. So
yeah. Now we know why you don't want to quit your job.
Hell, if I did, I'd just go there at night or something and dig in the trash cans or something. But they would probably save them for me anyways.
Yeah.
Ginger says, I keep hearing about the lotto tickets, but haven't heard as to why people buy them. And this could be in your state too, Ginger. I don't know what state you're in, but in my state, they have a Michigan lottery website where you can go on there. You can put in the codes from a lottery ticket, a losing lottery ticket, and they give you points. With those points, you can go into and enter raffles and stuff like that. And also, you can win coupons for free tickets. You just print out your coupon and you take it to your store, and they say, okay, you have this much in tickets, and you have to buy lottery tickets with them. You can't get cash for it, but they have them like that. And then also you can use those against your taxes, saying that you bought so much in lottery tickets, and this is the losing amount. And that's why this one lady, she wanted like $15,000 retail lottery tickets, because if you win a big amount in a casino or something, you can use that against your taxes. So yeah, it's like a second chance, but it's not the same as it used to be anymore. It's more like raffles and stuff like that you enter into with the points that you get from it. And so people do it for that. And people also, you actually, on our website, you can actually go in with your points and buy tickets, or it'll have a coupon for $20 worth of tickets. You have to have a lot of points though. Yep, that is that with the taxes. You have to have a casino winning, a big casino winning or something like that, but you can use it against your casino winnings. Grandma Magic Classes says, yeah, where's Dusty? I have no idea. Valerie invites everybody, and whether they show up or not, that's their deal.
Yep.
We miss you, everybody.
I always tell Sally they don't like us anymore.
No, that's not it. He's just, doing his own thing, and there may, everybody has stuff going on in their lives all the time, and even though we know a lot about, Dusty and Tristan's personal life, we don't know everything. So,
Right.
they could be going through something, or, something could be happening in their family that we don't even know. Yeah. So you never know. Yep. There's no lottery in Utah. Tristan says he's tied up at the moment. Hi, Tristan. But, I mean, that's the same with, everybody, if Valerie's got, appointments, or, I have appointment, or am too tired to be here because I worked the night before, or, there's just, sometimes there's stuff just going on that, you don't really realize. But yeah, I miss Dusty too. I miss hanging out with him. I always hang out with Dusty, and I haven't seen much of him lately.
Yeah.
It's in the summertime, I do a lot of stuff, so in the summertime I may not be here quite as much either,
Right.
Completely understandable. I mean,
sometimes we have lives.
True.
I mean, this has become a big part of my life. I love, being on the show and talking to everybody, and
I actually missed it on the weekends.
Yeah. I do too. I do too. Yeah, it kind of sucks.
On days when I haven't been here, I've listened to it right away when I could, because I wanted to see what everybody had to say. Or
hugs and love to you, Tristan and Dusty. We know that you're going through some stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's, in summertime, yeah, I'm going to be busy at work. I mean, in the summer, I cannot stress how busy that we actually get, but it's pretty nuts. Like, we have so many people in the store in the summer, day and night. It's like Las Vegas or something here.
And probably within the next year, my husband will be quitting his job and going full-time reselling.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm not in the van, or if I'm not in my building, it might be hard for me to get on because if he's home,
Yeah. That's all right. We know that you do what you need to do, and it's important to make sure everything else is taken care of, at home.
That's one thing I like about the morning show is it's easier for me to get on in the morning show because
Yeah.
my husband's home in the evening and
Yeah. Yeah,
and I like spending time with the jerk. And though he's in the living room doing his thing, I'm in the dining room doing my thing sometimes. But we're still, we're still
So,
conversing.
so you decided against making your home into your office?
Well, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I got to talk to him.
Yeah.
I really want the building because I want eBay out of my house. I want to be able to go home from eBay, kind of thing.
Right.
But then again, like I said, me and my husband, he may be doing his thing in the living room and I'm doing my thing in the dining room, but we're still talking, we're still conversing. I can say, hey, dear, blah, 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 whatever. Whereas if I'm in a completely different building, I just feel like, but then again, he's going to stop. He's going to quit his job within this next year and go completely reselling too. So maybe he'll be in the building with me. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Well, maybe start off with one building. Maybe you'll start with one building and then you two are in there and then maybe you'll realize that it's too close to quarters for you and maybe he'll build a building for himself and you'll have two buildings.
We can wave at each other through the windows.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure. I mean, this building has been 2 years coming because things have happened where he couldn't do it. And maybe there's a reason for it, I keep thinking of that too,
Right.
So I don't know. I've got, like I said, I've got the living room and the dining room, and it's just me and him. We don't do a whole lot of entertaining here. And usually, if we do entertaining, it's usually in the summertime. People want to come out here for barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be outside. It's in the country, so they want to be outside. They don't want to be sitting in my house,
Right.
So most of the entertaining that I do is in the summertime outside. So it doesn't really matter what I do with the inside of my house. So maybe I'll just take over the living room and make the dining room into the living room. And
what in the hell's the problem here?
Hi, Dusty. I miss your face.
Dusty,
we missed you.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, and then Sally speculated, like, maybe they're having marital problems. Maybe
no, I did not say
that. Maybe they're tied up in divorce court today or something. I'm like, what the hell?
I did not say that.
I knew what you meant. You know how people take stuff and run with it. I think it's funny. No, I've just been, I heard grandmother's dying and stuff with that, and probably a funeral coming up really soon. And
when Sally said that, I felt like saying something about Grandma passing away but then I thought, well, maybe I better not because I didn't want anybody to go with it and think something was going on with you guys.
we're all like I mean, prepared for it. I mean, she's just
Yeah.
in a state where, yeah. But
is she one of those strong women that's never gonna die?
oh yeah, pretty much. Like she would live
Yeah.
with a feed, just despite everybody would live with. You know what I mean? Like.
Yep. Yep.
You know, I'm honest believer that we're here for a reason, and for some reason, you know, there's a reason why she's still here. You know, and when that's done, then she'll go.
Yeah.
True. So yeah, let's see. What this weekend I just spent some time with our daughter. Had Tristan spent some time with a girlfriend of hers, and I took Windsor, and we went all over the place and went to the lake and ate seafood at this little restaurant, and went up in an airplane, and for her first time.
Ooh, wow.
We had a lot of fun. That's all that's going on. And then playing shipping hell on Monday yesterday was kind of, I was way behind, and every freaking thing that I had to ship wasn't easy. So
Yeah.
that's all that's going on. There's no like fun story behind it.
Yeah.
It just sounds like you got
You've
out
been working.
and, you know, did some stuff. And
well, the
you know.
weather's fun. Like last night. Yeah, like last night I said, Tristan cleaned house all day yesterday. Because apparently somebody has decided that we need to have, when the time comes, have the, whatever you want to call it where you live. Most people call it a wake, but the family reception, that we need to have that at our house. Which, I mean, okay, our house just is not, like, I mean, we're talking about 50 people. That ain't going to work. But, you know, if it's 10 people, yeah, we have a decent house for, like, entertaining, I guess. You know, not really, but. So Tristan cleaned all day yesterday, and I got sent on Walmart duty. I went to the gym and I went on Walmart duty and got all the stuff we need. And somewhere that story was going somewhere about Walmart. I really don't remember what it is. And I'm not quite yet. And we just cleaned. Oh, and then I actually got some steaks and cooked steaks last night and grilled out a little bit. The weather's nice again, and it's not all, because, you know, it went down to like 52 here. We had it in the 80s, and then it goes down to 50s during the day. And I'm like, well, this sucks. So this weekend was, yeah, this weekend was the first, like, where it's back up in the mid to upper, like, where you can go outside in short sleeves and you don't need a jacket.
Yeah.
So we just got out and enjoyed it. It was fun.
That's good.
After the show yesterday, I was talking to Tara in the hangout, and for quite a long time. And I went outside and sat in my van with the door open because it was so nice out. I actually got sunburn on the top of my leg.
Oh, wow.
It's like, top of my leg just hurts. What the hell? And I went and looked at it. It's all just beat red. I got a sunburn on the top of my leg. So I told my husband, well, maybe today I'll have to turn my van around and sit on my passenger side with my door open. For the other top of my other leg.
Yeah.
So that's it. No, I was just messing with you, Sally. I knew what you meant, but
it did sound like they had major shit going on, though. When you said it.
no, it's really not. I mean, like, it's really not that there's even that much going on. I mean, there is and it isn't. It's just all the little things just go, going. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And these kinds of things are really time sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like yesterday, I mean, I was sitting and bullshitting with Tara and Jim for so long yesterday. I was like, all of a sudden I look at the clock and it's noon, and then I look at the clock, it's 1. It's like, oh my God, I just wasted almost my whole entire day. You know? Not that Tara and Jim's a waste, but I mean, you know what I mean.
Wow. I hope they're listening, because apparently I'm getting a divorce and you just call them a waste.
Which they made a video of an auction haul. You got to go see.
Oh, who? Tara and Jim do?
Yeah.
They never do videos. For reals?
I know. Yeah, they did. They backed up the van. They had a little table there. They were bringing stuff out.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I remember.
Yeah.
I caught a little bit of yesterday's show while I was shipping. I just kind of had to play in the background, but I was in and out of the room hunting boxes and all that. I remember Jim talk about something about how it's like it's hard sometimes because it's kind of a time suck when you should be unloading.
Yeah.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
Well, I'm subscribed to them. I haven't even I don't check YouTube. I haven't done anything like I sat down the other night in the Facebook group and I sat down and there's like literally like I'm like, wow, people have questions they asked 2 days ago and nobody's answered them, you know, or tried to help them.
I haven't been on Facebook much the last couple days.
Well, maybe I don't subscribe to them. I do. What day was that?
Not sure.
That's their only video, so there's no one there.
I don't. What's their selling? What's their? I mean,
Jim, Tara, Carey.
oh, there they are. Oh no, I don't because they didn't have videos before. Okay, I subscribed to you. Yay!
We'll go.
Frankie's finds that
Been
girl.
getting good.
Who?
I was gonna say, have you been getting good sales?
Yes and no. Yeah. I did go out and buy some stuff. Saturday. Oh man, see, this whole weekend's run together. Saturday. Yeah, I did some running. That was the day. I spent a lot of time with our daughter this weekend. Like, she was off work. She started a second job. And like, hey, let's go do some stuff. And it was just stuff like our Costco membership has you can have a second household member. And I thought, well, what's the sense in having Tristan? Because we're always together, or if she does happen to go to Costco without me, she's usually with a friend and just use their card and pay it back or whatever. But 99 times out of 100, we're always together. And I was like, well, I'll give that to Windsor. That'll be really cool. And then she can have, her own membership. Won't cost anything. So we went to Costco and got her card made. And then she's like, Dad, I need socks, like for work, like no-show socks or whatever. I'm like, okay, let's, we walked around, ate samples, just stupid stuff like that. But she's just such an amazing, I say kid, I mean, she'll be 19 in November. So, I mean, she's not a kid anymore, but I mean, just her sense of humor, how she deals with people, like the rude people in Costco, just the funny things that she says and does. And I mean, she's just fun.
That's cool.
My girls are that way too. I just love spending time with my kids.
I mean, it was literally on Sunday after we did the plane ride thing. I was like, you want to go out to Gunnersville, which is like about an hour from where we were at, and it's the town with the big lake and all that. I was like, there's this restaurant that has great Yelp reviews that I've been wanting to try, and it sits right on the lake. And she's like, let me look it up. She already, of course, already has Yelp. Typical kids anymore. Already has Yelp pulled up. She's like, okay, that looks cool. It's right on the marina, all the sailboats, which it turned out that's where our landlord's sailboat is. So we ended up running into him. So that just made for a fun, long day.
Cool.
And saw his sailboat, which I've already seen his sailboat, but saw it. He's actually got it in the water now and stuff. So that was just, I don't know, it's just fun.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Did you get to go for a ride on the sailboat?
No, by that point, well, he and I ended up going back, and it was dark. It was at night, and I mean, he's got, I can't remember what all the different lights and stuff are called, but he's got, the light system, and we could have, but there was zero wind. Like, there was no wind on Sunday evening, and he's like, we can, use the little trolling, use the little outboard motor. It's like 10 horsepower or something. He's like, and we could putt out of the marina and sit out there like 50 feet. And I'm like, no, that's like, what's the point? We'll just sit in the sailboat in the marina, but now we're going too soon. We had a lot of wind last week, and then the wind just died this weekend. He wants to take it down to Destin and put it in the water. And then we started talking about Key West and dry Tortugas. He's like, yeah, I did that in another sailboat I had a couple years ago. He goes, you want to do that? I'm like, dude. He was talking about putting it in Miami, and going all the way down the Keys. And I'm like, and when I say sailboat, it's not a big, huge, it doesn't have a bathroom or a kitchen. It's got a little porta potty. I mean, it's a very small hull. I forget what kind it is. It's an old vintage one that he's fixed up.
Mm.
I mean, it would be like roughing it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, that'd be fun. But
yeah, scary at the same time.
yeah, I can't say I'm too old for that, but I mean, he's 10 years older than I am, so I can't really say that. But he grew up in the Keys, and so he grew up like around water, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you didn't go too far off, I mean, you'd always be within, like, you know, radio distance of Coast Guard or somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if you stayed close, that would be a different story, but.
Oh, and then I got into poison ivy. You'll love this. You remember I did the garden thing like the week before last? Well, apparently it doesn't show up for like, and I thought I wasn't allergic. It's either poison ivy or oak or sumac or whatever. But apparently it just waited 5 or 6 days to show up. And Tristan's laughing at me. She's like, you got like the hand herpes. And it's like all of, but it's only like, I only have it here and some little thingies there. And, you know, poison, it's just gross. They're like pussy and nasty. And,
oh, yeah.
So I tried apple cider vinegar. I looked that up, and it seemed to have helped overnight. I just smell like a giant douche now, but. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and it was
that fits.
And you know, that's like the worst thing you can do is scratch it. So I'm laying there like, oh, itch, go away, itch, go away, itch, go away. And Tristan's like, you stink. Because apple cider vinegar isn't like, you know, like regular vinegar. It's a lot stronger. It smells like a.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what's happened. A lot of excitement.
Now we can really call you a douche, huh?
I got my little bowl here. I'm about to apply it again this morning.
Blackberry thistle tea says bleach and water kills it.
Bleach does, but bleach, well, that's the military actually uses bleach. The bleach will scar you too. It's a little harsh.
Ouch. Sounds like it'll burn like a bitch.
It'll burn like a mother. It can actually leave scarring because it pretty much just like kills it. So I think apple cider vinegar might be a little just as effective maybe, but without like scarring me for life. Right. So that's what's going on.
Nothing.
I have 5 things in my store. Well, I don't have a store, but I have 5 things listed.
So I bought a few things on Saturday, and in between, in between Costco, new tire for her Jeep, dropping her off at work so I could go do the new tire. Bought a few things. I mean, it wasn't really anything exciting. And I was going to do a little video, and then I never really got around to it. I did do a video of going up in the plane, which was really freaking cool because it was the same one that Bearded Picker went up in. He went like an hour and a half before our trip.
Oh.
So it was an old 1929 Ford tri-motor airplane.
Wow.
Johnny Depp was in it in a movie, and it was featured in a Jerry Lewis movie in the 50s and 60s, and it acted as Air Force One, quote unquote, for the Dominican Republic or something for several years. At one point in the time in the 1930s, it belonged to Cubana Airlines. It was just really, I mean, it was made out of tin, and it was, you know, had little jump seats in there, and it was, I've been on a lot of different kinds of planes, but Windsor's never flown. So for $75, you could take a 15-minute ride. Well, your takeoff, your prep time, all that, but 15 minutes in the air. Well, we ended up having to stay extra in the air because a couple of small jets took off. So he had to kind of go into a holding pattern and circle back around. So it ended up about 25 minutes, but it was pretty cool. I mean, it was bumpy, and, you know, it's a propeller. It's an 88-year-old propeller airplane, which is a little frightening to think about it, but Windsor thought it was awesome.
That is crazy. I mean, it's kind of taking the same risk as, jumping out of an airplane or, riding a roller coaster for that matter,
That's what Windsor said. She's like, I was like, Windsor, now if you've handled that as your first plane, commercial airliner will be nothing. Because I said, you really would think occasional hit a pocket of turbulence or something, you really don't feel anything on an airline, on a commercial plane. And she goes, well, that's no fun. I like that. That's exactly what she said. That's no fun. I like that roller coaster. I'm like, no, you don't want to feel like you're on a roller coaster when you're in the sky.
Nope. Totally different situation.
No, Windsor. No, baby.
Yeah. The last couple of times I flew, it seemed like it was really bad turbulence. Like you're gripping the seat handles, And I'm like, man, a couple of years ago when I flew, it wasn't like this. And it was, just in a bad time when we, had hit a storm or whatever, but the plane is literally going like this and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to die. you don't really compare that to riding a roller coaster.
Let's see, Friday night. That's just been a fun week. Friday night, that was Saturday night. Saturday night, after I got done, dropped Windsor off, Costco, tire, all that stuff, did a little bit of picking, came home, and I was like, I do not want to sit here and list, but I needed to get the stuff listed. So I texted Scott, the bearded picker, and I just jokingly said, wings. And he goes, actually, my son and I are on our way to get wings right now. And I was like, well, pick me up. Just kidding. He was in his van with all the seats out, so I had to sit in the back. He's like, you're going to have to sit in the floor in the back. And I'm like, that's fine. So that was fun. And we went and had wings, and then we dropped his son back off at his house, drove all the way up there, and then he came back to the house. And we just sat and talked for 2 or 3 hours. Actually had a really good time.
Sounds fun.
It wasn't really, like, I don't know. I stayed busy all weekend, but I really didn't do anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It totally does. What are you doing, Valerie?
Nothing.
Are you taking a nap?
What are you doing? No.
Oh.
No way.
Are you listing or anything?
Nope.
Oh. Not yet.
Oh, you shouldn't.
Blackberry thistle tea says it will clear up in one day. Went blackberry picking and got the worst case of poison ivy. Went to doctor and everything. Nothing worked except the bleach and water. And then says the doctor would not even give me a shot or anything.
Wow.
Well, it's already better today with the apple cider vinegar, but if it doesn't improve anymore by tomorrow, I may consider trying.
Yeah.
The bleach. Oh, I'm not doubting that it doesn't work. I'm just saying that bleach left on your skin, from everything I've read, it does have some lasting scarring effects.
Well, it depends on how much water you put with it too. I'm sure. I had never known that when a skunk sprays you, it stings your legs and stuff. But my son got sprayed probably about, I don't know, it's been probably 3 or 4 months ago. He was on a bike and he actually hit the skunk with his bike, and it sprayed his bike and him. And so he was on his way to my house, and we threw him in the shower. We threw him in the shower and doused him with tomato sauce. And he's like, oh, it's burning so bad, and so we rinsed him off and everything. And whenever he dries his legs off, I sprayed him with that first aid spray. And he said that took the sting right out. So
first aid spray has one of the cane drugs in it, like lidocaine, benzocaine.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Lidocaine, yeah.
which is just painkiller, or topical killer.
Right.
Yeah, Megan Carl said, "Oh, poison ivy is what you're talking about. Rubbing the inside of a banana peel on it works." I'll tell you what else works. And this is, I mean, I hate to talk, but if anybody's ever had a wart, I've had one my entire life. Don't know how I got it. It was on my finger. I had it for about a year, and it was right on the side of my finger. I could not get rid of it. I tried the freeze stuff. I tried everything under the sun. And then I read, take the inside of a banana peel, scrape just some of the stuff off, some of the mush, pack it on there, put a Band-Aid around it, leave it for about 24 hours, and then take it off. The thing disappeared, never came back since.
Wow.
So banana peel, yeah, and I was reading that last night, that banana peel would work on poison ivy. The problem is I have it in so many different little spots. I would just probably have to like gauze myself up and
Yeah. I had one when I was a kid. I don't know what happened to it, but every time I'd get it, I'd peel it off. And then it'd grow right back. And I'm like, what the hell is this thing? And yeah. So obviously it didn't grow back one time. So I don't know what I did to make it go away though.
That's the only time I've ever had one, and it just was like, I don't know, like 10 years ago, just showed up on my finger, and it was like, ugh.
Yeah.
In that position, and I was working at the UPS store at the time. When I pointed a receipt or something, I was very self-conscious because it was like right there on the end of my finger, like, yeah, staring at you. So, I mean, I tried all those over the counter, freeze it, nothing, and then banana peel, like gone in 48 hours. Yep. So if anybody ever gets those, true story. True story. Okay, I can shut up now. There's other people here.
Grandma Magic Classic says, guess Coke is supposed to work on skunk stink. I'll have to try that next time. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Because it was gross.
I keyed up everybody to your video there, Tara, so I gotta make more.
It was lame, Nikki. I mean, I was like, Jim, this is. But we didn't have very much stuff, really.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad stuff.
Yeah, we just didn't really have a lot of stuff.
Start somewhere, so.
Well, sometimes that's the way. That's real life, though. Sometimes you go to the auction, you don't get great stuff.
Yeah.
We just turned the water on in the shower real hot, and then just sat down on the floor of the shower, stuck our thumb, and cried.
Oh, God.
But it's over now. We're gonna move on.
But that's the nice thing about being an auction buyer is you buy so much at auctions, and there's always something to list. And even if you go to an auction and there's really nothing to buy that day, or you get some crap, there's always something next time. Or at one of the auctions, you can go to many auctions. There's always something.
Yeah, I like the gun a lot, but I'm gonna keep the gun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take a sip of this orange every time Nikki says the word auction, and I can't even keep up. If I go to the auction and the auction and the auction.
Auctions are awesome, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, I know, don't get me wrong. I think she said it 6 times in that one sentence.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. You know me. I love pet peeve stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up for the day. Hope everybody has a great day and get some stuff done and listed. And
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock already.
All right.